Hi guys, welcome again. I'm trying a new thing with the camera, so please let me know if it's better or worse. But without further ado, we go into the second round of Res Arcana artifacts. So this time will be from G to Z, I think. No, the last one is not Z, but it's okay. So first we start with a guard dog. So guard dog is a creature that's going for it, and it's a very cheap creature that also can combo, and red is not something that's used very much on creatures. But the reaction is actually pretty bad. I guess you can protect from it, but you are spending 3 essence, so you need to protect at least probably 3 times for it to matter. So that's quite a lot, but it can save you maybe in those like rare instances that like in those 1 in 1,000 games that people actually do attack each other a lot. For me, unfortunately, guard dog gets 1 star. Can see him being 2 star, but not much more. I just do not see this played almost ever. I think with more expansions, Guard Dog has a chance to become much better because he's cheap and he has a tag, and the ability maybe in the future can become really useful. But as of the base game, and I should say this at the start of this video, so disclaimer here, this video, this is a continuation of the previous video, and in this video I talk mainly about Res Arcana for 2 players with the draft variant. This is how the arena is played on Board Game Arena, so the competitive variant. This is the most competitive variant that we currently have online, so that's what I'm talking here about. I'm recording this by the end of the February in 2021. So keep that in mind, that this is mainly for 2 players. With 3 and 4 players, this gets a little bit trickier. With 3, I think most of my points still stand. With 4, I just don't have that much experience, because I do not think this is like the best game to play with 4, just because more player just at the downtime limits your options between the turn and just create a little bit of more chaos. So, Guard Dog, 1 star, sorry. I'm always sad when I have to rate any dog in any game low. But he looks quite angry, maybe because he's a guard dog. Moving on, Hand of Glory. Hand of Glory, so I will repeat something that I've said in the previous video, but try to keep it brief. Every card I value on turn 4. Most of the games, I think, like I said, 95%. I'm willing to say 99% of games between great players will end by turn 4 in a 2-player drafting variant with the base game. So every card I value, like every economy card, so cards that bring you essence, I value by the turn 4. So Hands of Glory. It costs you 2, and again, every card you have to spend like 2 more essence or like 1 more gold, just because every card can be discarded for gold or 2 essence. That's something that they even tell you in the rulebook, that to value cards like that. So Hands of Glory, it costs, like the real cost is 4, and it gives you +1. So by the turn 4, it will break even. So doesn't seem like the greatest of deals, right? But here is the catch. First of all, Hand of Glory is really cheap, so you can play it along other economy cards turn 1. And also, if you are going for a very good strategy by converting 1 type of resource to gold, for example, Aethanor can do that, or Philosopher Stone, those are 2 cards that can do that, your black is much more valuable than your opponent's black. So that's something to keep in mind. But because of all that, I'm actually valuing Hands of Glory as 3 stars. That might seem like too much, to some of you. Maybe to some of you will seem like too little, but I do not expect that. But Hand of Glory actually made its way to a lot of my winning setups, and I've lost to Hand of Glory also quite a lot of times, just because, you know, when you think about this card as gain 2 gold, your opponent gain 1 black, suddenly the value is through the roof. But I cannot rate it higher just because Hand of Glory by itself, not that great, but if you combine it with other great cards, it can be really good. Moving on, Hawk. Another creature, this time we have an upkeep, so cost of 4, by turn 3 we get 3, so we invested 1 essence into Hawk just by playing it. The second ability can save you sometime, like if you really need to go through your deck, so sometimes it can save you, but it doesn't give you any value, just because 2 essence is the same as a card. But the first ability, especially when used on Monument deck, can be really good. And because of that, just because of that, I value Hawk as 2 stars. He's still not the best, but I've seen players do okay with him. So that's why I'm here for 2 stars. Moving to the good stuff, and there is plenty of them in the Horn of Plenty. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. So Horn of Plenty. The cost is quite excessive, so it costs you like 6 essence, because again, gold is 2 essence, and every card is 2 essence, so 6. But by the turn 4, you get 12 back, so that's plus 6. That's amazing. More importantly, you are also flexible with gold. You get less, but you are flexible. That still counts for something. And like the most important thing is that you can untap Horn of Plenty even turn 1 to get even more essence, to get your engine going faster. It's just one of the best cards. Like I'm rating cards between 1 and 5 stars. Horn of Plenty could even get a 6 star. So 5 stars from me. Horn of Plenty. For most players, this is the first pick. I think this is the second pick in the game, but we'll get to that. So then we go into Hypnotic Basin. I'm just going to scroll a little bit. Hypnotic Basin. So done with scrolling. Hypnotic Basin, again, cost 6, give you plus 2, so by the end of... by the start of turn 4, you are minus 2, but of course you can also get some value from tapping, and you can get quite a lot of value from tapping. The problem with Hypnotic Basin, like with evaluating Hypnotic Basin, is that you never know how good it is. So evaluating this for 2-player, I think you can get some, but more importantly, you can prevent other players for playing from red. And I actually really like drafting Hypnotic Basin. It's going to get 4-star rating for that's how you do 4. That might seem like a lot, and I can see this being as free for some people, but I really like it. Like it's really good, and it's like when you see this, like imagine that you drafted for a red strategy using, for example, Dragon's Tooth. I will pop it on the screen somewhere. You drafted like your first round of drafting, you drafted for Dragon's Tooth, and you don't even know that Hypnotic Basin is in the draft. You can do a lot of stuff with that. So I actually like Hypnotic Basin quite a lot. 4 stars. Moving to the Jeweled Statuette. This one is good. And I struggle to think how good, because it's with the strategies that I mentioned with Aethanor or with Philosopher's Stone. Jeweled Statue is amazing, because again, if you think about this card as gain 3 gold, all rivals gain black essence, then it's just insane, right? Counting normally, the cost is 6. By the end or by the beginning of turn 4, you get plus 2 from this. It also gives you 1 point, so that's quite good by itself. And It also statuette is in the best color. Black is probably the best color to gain points from. So this is really, really good. I really struggle here. I'm going to give it 4 stars, but it's close to 5 really for me. I really like Jeweled Statuette. The second ability, I think I've never seen it used, but I'm sure somebody's used it in the past with a good effect. It's just so wasteful because you actually lose 1 point. But I've never seen it used, but I'm sure in some situations it can come quite handy. Then we go into Magical Shard. And Magical Shard, I think most of players have a journey like me with Magical Shard. The first time they look at it, it's like, whoa, it's so good, it costs 0, you can just tap it, it looks broken. Then the next one is, okay, but you actually lose 2 essence, and it's just giving you 1, so by turn 4, you are actually on +2, which is not bad, but it's far from amazing. Then you actually think, okay, but it's +2, you actually can play it turn 1, and the flexibility is really nice. And Magical Shard is something that you are always happy to see. It's not something like, oh, it's going to break the game. No, it's just something that's nice to have. Of course, you want to play this turn 1, but usually your economy cards have to be played turn 1, maybe sometimes turn 2. Actually, Magical Shard can be played turn 2, and that's also what makes it quite nice. For me, Magical Shard, 4 stars. Then we go into Mermaid. Let me just scroll all the way. Mermaid is something that I think can be abused in the future if we get really good places of power, where, for example, if you put a blue on that place of power, then it gets you +2 points. Then Mermaid, sure, can be insanely good. But right now, with the base game, I don't think Mermaid has a place. Generally, the places of power that you go for, the beast one, I will pop it on the screen somewhere, costs you blue and green, and it requires a tap from a creature, so usually not that great. For me, Mermaid has a very niche use. I think for me, generally, in the base game, Mermaid is a 1 star even. I've never seen it used good, but I'm happy to be proven wrong in the future. Gale. Gale is quite a bit better. It's cheaper. It has the same tag. Of course, the ability is not there, but again, with the beast, usually you just tap the beast for the beast places of power, and it has a point. So I like Nightingale in the base game quite a bit better, and for me, Nightingale gets 3 stars. But it's like a soft 3 stars for me. Then we go into Philosopher Stone, and that's where it's at, guys. And this is, for me, the best card in the base game for drafting. I always draft it. No matter what my other cards were, I will just always pick Philosopher Stone in the base game when playing with 2 players with the drafting variant. Just let me say it one more time. It's just so insanely good, and it's just a bit better than Aethanor, because Aethanor you have to have it turn 1, while Philosopher Stone you just need to have it by the start of in turn 4 basically. And it's just insane. Generally just combo with Philosopher Stone and Jeweled Statuette. If you have just those 2 cards, I think you won the game. And that's how strong this card is. You just play Jeweled Statuette turn 1, you just play, untap if you can, just get some other stuff, discard cards, eventually play Philosopher Stone, convert at that point 23 probably gold to black to gold, and win like that. Philosopher Stone is insane. It even has a point, just like Jeweled Statuette, so that means that you'll just have like 14 points even by turn 4, and that's just unstoppable, I think. Some of the strategies can save it, but this is just like so consistent. It combos with so many things. You can also see on the screen just like Jeweled Statuette and Tree of Life, for example, 2 cards that combo greatly with it, and just so good. Philosopher Stone has to actually get a 6-star rating. I'm sorry guys, I'm breaking it just for this card. This for me is the best card in the base game, and I'm actually quite tired of playing it and against it because it's just so consistent, so good, and it's so hard to disrupt the plan. With the expansion, there is the limiting number of monuments that you get in the game. This helps tremendously, but I haven't played it with much yet. Then also with like more players can steal monuments. That also helps like other players going for monuments. This of course can result in a weird games where like 2 players are going for monuments, they like take off each other, none of them can win, and the third guy wins because he went into place of power or something. But of course this is a nature of multiplayer games. But again, Philosopher Stone for me the best card in the game, and I generally didn't value it that great at first, but I just like I've got beaten by it, and I analyzed my losses, and I like seen what the value is. I just calculated, and I've played it, and I tested it, and I was like, okay, this is the best. Let's move on. Then let's go into Prism, and Prism is something that you can really easily compare to Magical Shard. So I will just pop Magical Shard on the screen. Maybe here, I don't know. And Prism is, I think, almost equally good. It's just, a little harder because you cannot play it. You cannot use the ability if you don't have any essence, but it's not a big drawback. And the second ability is a positive one, but it's one that you won't use that often. I generally think Prism is a little bit better, but not enough to warrant a higher star rating, so for me it's still 4 stars. Then we go into Ring of Midas. Very flavorful. The cost here, cost 5, nets you +2, but only 3 times, right? Yes, 3 times, so that's just +1. But it gives you a point, so that's nice. And also it gives you gold, so that's something that's easiest to use. Like it gives you just +3 gold by turn 4, +2 gold at the cost of a card and a green one. So that's very valuable. For me, a very good card, something that I'm always happy. Late game also you can use it to just to be a point by the excessive gold and the green essence that you have. 4 stars. Then we go into Sacrificial Dagger, and I'm very glad that Sacrificial Dagger is next to Sea Serpent in this list. It's alphabetical, so it's just a coincidence. But the second ability of the Sacrificial Dagger, you very clearly can see that it's meant for a Sea Serpent in your hand. So that's something quite nice. The ability to convert green into black is also not bad. The cost is 5. Just by using the ability you will get it 3 times +2, so you get +1. But you get a large bank of 1 essence, so that's always quite nice. Also, the discarding that you can do, you have to, you probably won't get that, you will get the first ability 3 times, and then you can use the last one, so that's quite a bit better. For me, Sacrificial Dagger is a tricky one because it also requires you to draft something like Sea Serpent, and actually Sacrificial Dagger is a reason why I will give dragons like 2 stars, because I actually think they might be even closer to 1 star currently. But just because the Sacrificial Dagger exists and other cards like this and Sacrificial Pits and stuff like that, the high cost actually is not bad in this game sometimes when you don't even want to play a card. But going back to Sacrificial Dagger, 4 stars from me. Quite good, but sometimes tricky to use. Let's scroll. Let's leave Sacrificial Dagger maybe here. Sea Serpent. This has both Dragon and Beast stack, which is not that relevant right now, but it may be in the future. So that's quite unique. Also, the 9 cost is the highest. Goes great with Sacrificial Dagger. I just talked about it extensively. The ability, like the prevent, what you need to look for in the life attack usually is the prevention ability. So here, rivals may destroy 1 artifact. This actually is not good for you, because a lot of the times they can sacrifice something like Magical Shard that you can see on the screen. Usually you will play Sea Serpent not like turn 2, but turn 4. You just get 1 attack. By this time, they might have used one of their economy cards that they no longer need and just sacrifice that one. So I wished this had a little bit better attacking ability, and just because of all those things, I'm still going to rate this 2 stars. I think the dragons are just about that in the base game. Then let's go into the Treant. Treant is, again, here very comparable to Hypnotic Basin that you can see up him, like above him. It costs 1 more, so that's a little worse. But black is a little bit better in the base game, I feel like. So that's like, it will happen more often. And I guess that's why it costs more. The problem with the Treant is that the cost is very tricky to pay on the first turn. But I still like the Treant. I think it's a good card. It's a very good surprise card, just like Hypnotic Basin. Just because the cost is trickier in the first round, and because it's higher, I'm going to rate him 3 stars. But I think it's very close. Like, he's very close to being 4, and maybe Hypnotic is actually also pretty close to dropping to 3. But I've just seen much more Hypnotic Basin than Treant, but Treant is still very good. Like, 3 stars, I think it's still a good rating. Okay, let's scroll all the way. And then we go Tree of Life. And I haven't planned this, but this is excellently put out. So Tree of Life is very comparable to Jeweled Statuette. It costs 1 less. The cost is also very easy to pay. It has a little worse essence. The green, I think, is a little harder to come by in large quantities from other cards than black is. It loses 1 point, but it gains mediocre reaction, I would say. But still, Tree of Life plus Philosopher Stone that you can see on the right edge of the screen, it's still a good enough combo to win most games. By itself, I don't love it, but I think it's still decent. Like, a lot of the time it will be decent for you. However, it has to gain a lower rating than Jeweled Statuette, so for me 3 stars, but I think it's still a good card. Then we go into the Vault. So Vault costs 5, like the real cost is 5 essence. It gives you 3 gold, so that's 6, so that's already +1, but it's actually +5 because 2 times you will get 2 free essence. Vault is actually pretty easy to play alongside a lot of other things, and I think this is one of the better cards. Unfortunately, you kind of have to play it on turn 1, but that's the problem with a lot of economy cards. you just draft as much good ones as you have. If you get a crappy first hand, just get Divination. So for me, Vault still gets 5 stars. It's really good. Then we go into Water Dragon, and I think this is one of the weakest ones. I have to be honest here. The cost is very prohibitive because you just need blue. The ability, like the discarding of red, is not that great either, and it has nothing going for it. It's not the cheapest dragon, it's not the most expensive dragon. It's hard to play, to sacrifice it to Sacrificial Pit, for example. So for me, this is the one dragon that I'm actually rating 1 star. And let's go into the Wind Dragon. Wind Dragon is quite a bit better, just because the ability to discard the card, it's much harder for a lot of players. The cost is also easier to play for something like Sacrificial Pit, and it's better to discard it for Sacrificial Dagger, for example. So Wind Dragon, one of the better dragons, I guess, but at the same time, still 2 stars. And we end up with a Wind Up Man. This is the card that requires a lot of setup, and it's just like the problem with this card is that the games end on turn 4. If the games ended on turn 6, for example, Wind Up Man is amazing. But the problem is that you cannot, like, if you play, you can even try to control maybe the game, so like play dragons and like do stuff with that, so that the game don't end by turn 4, but you cannot play and set up Wind Up Man at the same time. Wind Up Man, it costs you 7, it will give you 4 gold, right? And maybe something else, but the problem is that you have to invest all those resources. You get them back, and they are just not enough for any kind of combo. So for me, Wind Up Man gets 1 star. And that would be everything for this series. Let me know, guys, how you liked it. If you want to see more Res Arcana, or if you want to see me analyze some other games, I think I have Abyss planned, and maybe Race for the Galaxy and Welcome to. But let me know what you guys want to see. 7 Wonders will still be, of course, on my channel, and don't worry about that. This is my favorite game of all time. Let me know what you guys thought about this whole series and where I was wrong, because I'm sure I was wrong somewhere. Thank you for watching, and see you. Bye.